Welcome back to video number 2 of the home buying process. Just to recap from the last video where I talked about and explained about getting your finances in order, having a 640 credit score, how to hire a realtor to work for you, because remember, the agent that has the sign in the yard is working for the seller. Hi y'all, I'm Renee Hunter with Century 21 Premier in Nashville, Tennessee. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. I add new videos each week about the local market trends in Middle Tennessee, neighborhoods, parks, schools, and local attractions and things to do. So today we will be finishing up what to do during the home buying process. So step 3 in how to find your dream home. What do you need to do? Where you need to get started. So you've been pre-approved, you're with a lender, you have an agent hired. So how do you find your home? Actually, 95% of buyers start their search online, but there's so many different websites to choose from. So how do you know which ones are the best ones to use? There are great sites such as realtor.com. Your agent will have their own personal website that'll be connected to the MLS. MLS stands for Multi-Listing Services, and in Middle Tennessee, our MLS is called RealTracks, and I will have a link below to realtracks.com so you can search some local homes here in our area, or you can use my website, either one. But main thing you do not want to do is search sites such as Zillow, Trulia, Homes.com. They're not accurate and have incorrect data and information. Now, a buyer can get very frustrated looking at these sites. I often have buyers contacting and calling me saying, hey, I found the perfect home. Can you show it to me? They give me the address and I look it up. It's like, I'm not finding this in the MLS as an active listing. Where did you see this home? Sure enough, it'd be one of those other sites. And then after I do find the home they're talking about, I have to say, I'm sorry, this one sold 6 months ago. Also, it's a good idea to remember, if you are searching multiple sites, not to fill out the contact me form or request more information form, because a lot of agents use this as a lead generation system. So when you fill it out, you will have an agent calling, texting, or email you. You've already hired an agent, so there's no need to fill out that contact me form, because your agent is going to direct you to the proper site. So you're getting active listings, not under contract, not pending, and definitely not sold. Talk to your agent about the local market trends in your area. Is there a lot of inventory, AKA a buyer's market where you have a lot to choose from? Or is it a seller's market where they're receiving multiple offers over list price and it's very competitive for the buyer? Some other questions to ask your agent is, do sellers pay closing costs in this area? What are the home values in this neighborhood? How long do homes stay on the market? I like to do a quick comparison for my buyers so they know that the home that they're making a bid on is in the proper price range, and it will help them to formulate a better offer. I also like to do a buyer's consultation meeting. During this meeting, we'll discuss, the size home, like bedrooms and baths, square footage, the location, and there is a difference between wants and needs. I need a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house because I have 2 children. I want granite countertops because I think they're pretty, and your agent in your area can do the same for you. Then we will set up a search to find the right home for you. Once this search is established, you will start receiving emails of properties that fit your search criteria. And how often you receive those emails are up to you. You can receive them in real time or daily, like just once a day, maybe twice a day, or just weekly, depending on you and your time frame of buying. If you are a buyer that is buying now, then you need to have your listing alerts coming to you in real time as they hit the market, or at least daily, so you know what is out there where you can get with your agent. But if you're thinking that I'm going to buy in the next 3 months or so, then a weekly alert would be great for you, and that way you can keep up with the local market trends and what is going on in your area. So when you are ready to buy, you kind of know already which neighborhood and style of home that you like. Now that you have the search established and you're receiving these listing alerts and you see a home that you like online, let your agent know, hey, I want to take a look at this house. But try to give as much notice as possible, like 24 hours notice, not only for your agent, but for the seller. Because a lot of times the seller is still living in the house. They'll need to tidy up the house, make sure if they have any pets, that the pets are taken care of or out of the home, and then they will have to leave the home. And if you're seeing more than one property that day, your agent will need to map out the best route so that you are not zigzagging back and forth across town, because you actually want to see homes, not keep driving all around. And you can do a minimum of a 2-hour showing notice, especially if it's in a hot market like in the Nashville area where things tend to sell rather fast. So it just kind of depends on your market and the time frame that you have, and it's convenient for your agent to get with you, and if the seller confirms your showing in that short amount of time. After viewing a few homes and you find the one that's right for you, then you need to let your agent know, hey, I'm ready to make an offer. In Tennessee, all offers have to be in writing. Verbal is not acceptable. And your agent will discuss some of the details that will go into this offer on the sales contract. Y'all will be discussing sales price, closing costs, closing date, home inspection contingency timeline, appraisal contingency timeline, financial timeline, which title company to use, is a home warranty being offered by the seller, or do you want to pay for a home warranty yourself? And there could be other special stipulations. But once your agent has all the information, they'll put it in a sales contract in the form of a written offer. You will sign it, and then it will be submitted to the seller's agent. Now, once you, the buyer, and the seller have everything agreed to, you are now under contract, and you will need to start moving forward with your performance timelines, such as finance, inspection, and appraisal. Your agent will also ask for the earnest trust money that will need to be held at either the real estate office or the title company, depending on terms of the contract. You will also would have reviewed the seller's property disclosure. This is pretty much the good, the bad, the ugly about the house, as far as what the seller has knowledge of. That being said, not all sellers will know what's going on in their attic, what's going on in their crawl space. They're not in those spaces regularly. And on the property disclosure, just because something is broke or not working properly doesn't mean the seller has to fix it. They just have to disclose that it is not working properly. So that is why it's a good idea for you to hire a home inspector. The home inspector will go thoroughly through the house, on the roof, in the attic, in the crawl space, and everywhere in between. Now, after the home inspector has gone through the home, and if there's anything that is like majorly wrong or that you want to ask for repairs, you can do that at this time, because it'll open up another window of negotiation. So say, for example, there's a couple of electrical outlets that are not working properly. You can ask the seller to hire an electrician to come out and replace those, or maybe hire a plumber to fix the leaky faucet. But just remember, you want to ask within reason of what you want repaired. You don't want to just say, hey, I want all these items on my home inspection report fixed, because guess what? A seller is not going to do that. They do not have to, but most sellers are reasonable and they will work with you on repairs. Some information on your home inspection report will just be informational, such as the water heater is 5 years old and is working properly at the time of inspection. Another inspection would be a termite inspection to make sure there are no live termites in the house. If so, then the seller will have to pay to have that treated so that you can have a clear termite letter to provide to your lender. Another inspection would be a septic inspection. If you are outside of the city limits and you're on a septic system and not sewer, then you will need to have a septic inspection as well. Okay, so the seller has decided to make some repairs, or maybe they said no, but you're ready to move forward, then you would be accepting the home as is. Some sellers may lower the sales price in lieu of doing the repairs. That will kind of help cover those costs, but you would be doing them after closing. Now, the home inspection process is done and you're still moving forward because you're accepting the conditions of the home. You still have the appraisal and financing portion to go through. The appraisal is the value of the home. Your lender wants to make sure that the home is worth the sales price. So they're going to send a third-party vendor, which is be the appraiser, out to give their opinion of price. And they're going to do that through comps of similar homes in the neighborhood. If the appraisal comes back and it is low, under the sales price value, at that time you can terminate the agreement, or the seller may be able to come down to meet that appraised value. Or I've had in one situation where I've had a seller and a buyer split the difference and each pay half of what was needed to get the deal done. The appraised value is good, everything came back, great value and everything. So now all that's left is processing your loan and the financing. So your lender is going to ask you for everything personally about yourself and your finances. So they will need bank statements, W-2s, tax records, and a lot of other information. So when your lender asks you for this information, get it to them as soon as you can, because you could delay your closing time if you don't get the documentation to the lender in a timely manner. You know, also they're going to make sure that you are still employed and that you have not taken out any new loans. So do not go out and buy a new car. Do not buy furniture to fill up the house. Don't buy a boat. Don't do anything on credit. Once you are pre-approved to buy a house and you're house shopping, do not do anything to jeopardize your credit. You want to stay employed. You want to pay your bills on time. Don't open up any new lines of credit, because a lender will check just a few days prior to closing to make sure everything is the same or better. So now everything is done, financing is done, the home inspection is done, the appraisal is back and good, and now you have received a call from your agent or your loan officer saying, hey, you know what? We are clear to close. We're going to close on this day at this time in this location. And this is how much money you will need to bring to closing. But before the closing date happens, you will do a final walkthrough with your agent. That's where you will go to the home, look around, make sure it's in the same or better condition as it was the day you went under contract. If the seller was supposed to make any repairs from the home inspection list, make sure those repairs are completed and done in a professional manner. If the repairs were not made that the seller was supposed to do, you need to speak up, let your agent know. It's kind of like when you're in front of the preacher and he says, speak now, forever hold your peace. If you don't speak up and say something, then your agent may not know that this is a problem for you. And when you do tell your agent, they can get with the seller's agent to kind of take care of this and get it squared away prior to the closing time. It's closing day, you are at the closing table with your agent and the closing attorney or the closing rep, whichever it may be. You're going to sign a stack of papers about this thick that says, I promise to pay this loan back to the bank. You'll sign multiple times that says you're taking on this debt. You are aware you're taking on this debt and you will be able to pay it back. And if you don't pay it back, they're going to foreclose. We don't want that to happen. So once you're done signing, your agent will hand you the keys and say, congratulations, you are now a homeowner. I hope you found this information helpful. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share. I'm Renee Hunter with Century 21 in Nashville, Tennessee. Bye, y'all.